Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to go through method overloading in C#. A method is a collection of code that does something. Method must always be inside a class. We cannot have any methods outside of a class. If the same method is used in different forms, to say, for example, that if the same method is accepting different types of inputs and outputting different types of outputs, then we can say the method has been overloaded. So we can use the same method multiple times in multiple variations. Let's take an example. You go to a McDonald's and you order a burger. You can have several different types of burgers. In this case, think of McDonald's as a class and then burger as a method. If we overload the burger method with different kinds of inputs, we can create a different types of outputs. For example, if we use a certain type of input, then we can create a double Big Mac. If we slightly change the inputs, then we can create a Big Mac, and so on. In this case, the burger method has been overloaded. In order to use the method overriding, the method name needs to be same. However, the signature needs to be different. Signature is the words inside small brackets. So these are the input parameters that a method takes. So in this case, if you look at the first row and the second row, there is no input parameters, whereas in the second row it is taking a number int a. In the third row it is taking a different type of parameters. A double is a decimal number compared to int a. We can also have a combination of different data types. Instead of int, we can also use data types such as string. So as long as the signature method is different and the name is the same, then we can use method overriding. Here we have our standard C# template. We are calling in a special class called system. This allows us to use built-in methods such as console.writeLine. Next we have the namespace. This can be thought of as a spatial container that holds everything together. It can have a class, methods, everything. A static void main can be thought of as the main door through which we enter. When we hit this start button, the compiler executes the code and starts from here. Since we've already said method cannot exist outside of class, it has been wrapped up in a program class. So let's create our class. This class is called a log. We have set the class as public because we want to be able to call this class and all the methods inside this class from this method called main. Now that we have created our class, we need to create our method. We have created our method. Again, we want to be able to call this display log method from inside this main method. So we have set the access modifier as public. Void means this method is not returning anything, and this is the name of the method, display log, and we are simply passing in a string called message. So string is the data type. What this method does is it just simply prints to the console whatever has been passed in as a parameter. Now let's come on to the main method. Before we can use any of this method, we need to create an object from this class. In this case, we have created object called log from this log class. Now we can access the display log method using the dot notation, and we have passed in our string called welcome to this program. So if I press start, then it should say welcome to this program. Let's see. Oh, it says welcome to this program. So this method has been correctly implemented. Now let's say I want to display to the console a string message whenever a user creates a file successfully. But this time around, I also want to show date and time. Rather than creating a different method, I can simply overload this display log method. So we have created an overload of display log method. So this time around, our signature is different. We have added another parameter called date and time. So this is the parameter name, date and time, and this is the data type. Date time is a special data type in C# and it allows us to work with date and time. This overload function displays the message and date and time. We have used a string literal. It allows us to directly access these parameters without escaping any characters as long as they are within these curly braces, meaning it will directly display parameter whatever has been passed in. It will also display this comma, space, and date and time information. Let's come to our main method and call this overloaded method. And we are saying you have successfully created the file on, and we have passed in datetime.now. This is a special method in C# which shows the current date and time. It is successfully saying you have successfully created the file on, and that is the current time. So this method has been implemented correctly as well. Now let's say whenever there is an error, then I want to display the error message and the error code to the console. Instead of creating a separate method, I can simply overload this display log method. So we have created overloading of another display log method, and again the signature is different. This time around we are passing in a string error, so whatever the error message is, and we are also passing in the error code, and this error code is of int data type, which means it's a number, and the method is simply displaying the error parameter and the error code. So if we come back over here and we call this method again, this time around we are saying requires user authentication, and we have passed in 401. When I hit run, it successfully displays this to the console log. This method has been implemented correctly as well. So you can see, using different types of overloading, we have managed to create different types of output from the same method. Why do we use method overloading? We use same method repeatedly, which avoids multiple uniquely named methods. This results in more readable code. Also, all related methods are grouped together, so it makes our code more maintainable. Method overloading also handles different input data types whilst providing same functionality. When do we need to use method overloading? When method performs same task or handles different data types, then we can use method overloading. If anyone wants to practice method overloading, here's an exercise for you. Create a method called area and apply method overloading, so area method can calculate area of a square, rectangle and circle. Thanks for watching.